we'll just, and we do limit the amount of stuff you learn. For example, the province doesn't really have round table arrangements. We're always doing rectangular or line arrangements. We don't do circles. But I think I like you to know it's not that complicated. I think at the end I will do circles just so you know, right? If you're ever seated, you're at a party or something, you're at a round table, say, I wonder how many times you can see each other, right? Different ways. Not going to happen, but hey, I'm hopeful. Here we go. So let's go to page 33. And remember, there's always one bottleneck in these types of questions, right? It kind of like you have to funnel through that one point, and then you have more options again, and this can go on indefinitely. We're not going to go indefinitely. We're just going to stop at probably 3. That's probably the max, right? Like 3 different blocks. Can I just give you a heads up? This could happen, okay? Let me see if I included one of those down the road. I don't. Oh yeah. Can you go to 37 with me real quick? I did that because the province did that one year. Go to 37. Look at this. It's a big grid, and you have A, C, B, right? Like that. What you need to do in those cases is you kind of have to imagine the blocks, right? So it would be this, right? And it would be this. So if you don't have a highlighter, just make it very bold. And then, so what happens to these boxes? We omit them. So if you ever see something like this, you kind of just ignore everything else around. So this is your bottleneck. And so we're just interested what happens in here, not here, right? There's no point anywhere outside, so don't worry about that. So if that ever happens, just cancel things out, right? Just cross that out. Just leave a little bit of room because you're going to need to write numbers down, right? So don't completely block anything. But I just wanted to give you a heads up when that happens. Okay, let's go back to 33 now. And so you'll always have, I encourage you to do both methods to make sure you get this right. Because I can't tell you how many times students do the counting method and they get it wrong, and something along the way went wrong, right? You went wrong, you added it wrong, you missed a number, and then if you do it both ways, it doesn't take that much longer, and then you get that confirmation that they match. That would be my advice to you. Okay, so watch this. Where do we start? We start with A. Okay, we start down here, and so we're gonna either, the assumption is, this is the assumption that we can only travel up or left, right? That's the assumption. Otherwise, this doesn't work. You can't go sideways either way, right? Or up and down as you please, because then there will be more options, right? So it's kind of like, hey, if you could only kind of go from there to there, it's only up or left, right? So here we go. So obviously along the edges, you have 1, 1, 1, 1 like that. Okay. So I kind of do that. I start here and I go up and then, wait, no, I think I go this way and then over. So this gives me 2, right? So you just add up these 2 intersections, you add them up and you get 2. You add this intersection with that one, you get 3, okay? 1 and 2 is 3. So remember, that goes for this intersection, that 3 goes with this, right? So there's a bunch of intersections. So 3 and 3 gives you 6, right? At this bottleneck right there. And then when you're at the bottleneck, it's almost like you do the same step along the edges here. So this intersection is 6. And we keep on that pattern all the way to this top intersection. Same going this way. 6, right? All along. Okay? It's a little small, right? Let me zoom in here for you. Let me do that. So if you missed it, here you go. So the important thing is this and these two intersections add up to give you 12, right? Then these two intersections add up to give you 18. These two give you 24. These two give you 30. Okay, and then I go over another here. So these two intersections will give you 18. These two intersections will give you 36. These two intersections will give you 60. 60 and 30 is 90. So there you go. And keep that going. 6 and 18 is 24. 24 and 36 is 60. 60 and 60 is 120. 120 and 90 is 210. Right? So you've combined these two to get that. And we've combined these two to get that, right? So then we hop over to the last intersection along the bottom here. We combine these two to give you 30. Combine these two intersections to give you 90. These two to give you 210. These two to give you 420. Used to be a thing, right? That number. Anyways, 420, 420. Pure coincidence, guys. Pure coincidence. Okay, so 420, then you continue that 420 along here, 420 along there, and then again combine these two to give you 600 and, nope, not 600, 840, sorry. And it's getting pretty tight here, so I hope you can see that, but that's 840. And then 840 and 420, that's 1260, right? So you can see that it's, the more boxes you have, the more intense this gets. And then 420 and 840, it's the same as 1260. Combine these two intersections here, right? You're combining them. And that is 520, so 2520. And then these two here would give you 1680. We're almost there. We almost got there. And then add these two up, and you get 4200. I'm going to write that nice and big here, 4200. It's okay to write it outside the box, actually. Let's do that because remember, these numbers, they are attached to that intersection, right? So it doesn't really matter, but you kind of want to be consistent as to where you write them down, or else you'll get confused, right? But this 60 here goes to that point right there, right? That intersection. And the 90 belongs to this intersection. 90 could be here, here, here. It could be anywhere, but I kind of stick to a method so that I don't mix them up. Okay. So this is AND, right? So we're going from A to B is the first one, and B to C, and you can't see that, right? Are we good writing this down? So I'm going to zoom out a bit here so you can see this part that I'm doing here. And C to D. Okay. So these are AND. You have to go from here to here, and from here to here, and from there to there. And in math is times, right? So I'm going to be a bit careful here. So from A to B, that's 4 total steps, right? So if you were to go straight up and over or sideways and up, it doesn't matter. That's 4. 2 vertical, 2 horizontal, right? So this would give you all the permutations to go from A to B. If you then want to go from B to C, just count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 total steps. Over. 1, 2, 3, 4 vertical, and another 4 horizontal. And remember, these two should always add up to the top, right? And then the and here stand from C to D, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 factorial. There's 2 vertical steps and 3 horizontal. So that's how you use the formula, right? And so let's clean this up a bit. 4 factorial is 24. 2 times 2 is 4. 8 factorial. Is that, I have that here, 40,320 over 24 times 24, right? Time, and this should always be a whole number, by the way, folks. If you don't get a whole number, you made a mistake, right? So 5 factorial is 120 over 2 factorial is just 2. 3 factorial is 6. So 2 times 6, basically, right? I'll write it out like this. And that all stays 1. And now you clean up. Use your calculator or whatever you need to. 24 divided by 4 is 6. This one is a little uglier, but just type that in and make sure. I wanna have this on screen here, so you can't say I didn't warn you. When you do the bottom part, make sure you go divided by brackets 24 times 24. Okay, you need to make sure you have that in brackets, or else it will not compute the right answer. It's 70. Watch what happens if I don't use brackets. If you just type it in like that, you're going to get 40,320, and that can't be, right? So you need to make sure you use brackets for these two in the bottom. 120, and this is 12, right? 120 divided by 12 is just 10. And then you go 6 times 70. That's actually 60 times 70, right? But hey, let's pretend like I didn't realize that. You didn't realize that. And there's 4,200 ways, or 4,200 different paths you can take from A to D, I should say. And my answers match, so I'm good to go. Right? I can't tell you how many times I get it wrong. Like I do it on here, and then I do the formula, and then it don't match. And then usually somewhere here, like further down the row, I make a mistake, right? And so you're like, oh, I caught it. It's right there. Okay. So this is second case. I call this a second case because there's a bottleneck, right? Case 1 is just a rectangle. Like it basically shrinks down to one of these. Case 2 is when you have bottlenecks, right? You could have 2 in this case, 1 in that case. And let's do the third and last, perhaps more challenging case, right? What if you are going through a middle point, but there are multiple options, right? It's an OR type of scenario. I'm doing good with time. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to pause it once. And I want you to try this one right now. Right? So this is on page 35. Just keep flipping down. Page 35. Try that one right now. Use both methods. If you don't have enough work to do the second method here, do it down here. I left you lots of room down there, okay? I'm just going to pause a little bit before I will say this. So there is a middle point, but you have multiple options. So the key here is OR, which is adding, right? So let's do the counting method. Counting method, right? Ignore, it's almost like you ignore middle points or passages that you have to go through, right? So you almost ignore it. So you almost just treat it like it's a regular problem. So it's like 1, 1 still, 1, 1, 1. So you almost treat this rectangle as a case on its own. Okay. So 1 and 1 is 2, 2 and 1 is 3, right? You want the arrows, so I add and I come up with that, right? And I add, I come up with that. Just get a pattern going. You add, you come up with this. Oops. Yeah, so 3 and 3 is 6, right? 1 and 3 would be 4. And you're like, what now, right? Well, this 6 continues on along this edge here. And this 4 follows down here as well for this intersection. So this 4 is here, and it just gets copied down. And continue this pattern. 4 and 6 is 10. 10 and 6, 16. 16 and 6, 22. 4 and 10 is 14. 14 and 16 is 30. 30 and 22 is 52. Yeah, 52. So according to our counting method, there would be 52 ways to get there from A to B. Okay. Now let's use the formula. Okay. But before I do anything, please do this as well. So the first option would be you go from A to C, right? And then you're going to go from C to B, right? Or the other option would be to go from A to D and D to B. Can I just emphasize the or, right? That's going to turn into a plus. You're going to have to add. Like this is almost like first case, second case, right? Like 2 cases to consider to get from A to B. So let's use our formula here. So watch carefully. I'm going to use a highlighter here. From A to C, you almost have to just worry about that rectangle that's created between those 2 endpoints. So 1, 2, 3, 4, right? A to C is 4 factorial over, you're going 2 and 2, right? 2 and 2. So 2 factorial, 2 factorial. And turns to be a times, right? C to B. So from C to B, you're going 1, 2, 3, 4. So it's still 4 factorial over, you're going 2 horizontal, 2 vertical. So let's see here. This is pink. Right, this is what happened in the pink zone. I think so, right? That's the green, right? So, or you're gonna have to go adding there. Okay, you're gonna have to add a plus. A to D. I need to have my orange. A to D, how would you get there? Just think of A to D. There's a lot of stuff going on. I will do this. 1, 2, 3, 4. Right? There's still 4 to go from A to D. So 4 over, I travel 3 vertical, and I travel 1 unit horizontal, which is, it's irrelevant really when it comes to the computation, but I think it's important to have it there to understand what we're doing. And then next from D to B, and now I'm at my wit's end here. I don't have another highlighter. Blue. Oh yeah, I do. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4. There are also another 4 steps to take, and it's 1 vertical and it's 3 horizontal. Way to go. I have all the highlighters I need here. Complicated, right? Yeah, this is the one you will dread the most. But it can be done. You just have to watch out for the or. Okay? Okay, so let's clean this up now. 4 factorial is 24. 24, right? 2 times 2 is just 4. So that cleans up nicely. 4 factorial is 24. Divided by 4. No problem. Or 4 factorial is still 24. 3 factorial is 6 times 1. We don't worry about that. Times 4 factorial is still 24. And it's still 6, right? This is all just, if you think there's a pattern, it's a bit of a coincidence here. This could, if I change this up a little bit, it will look different, right? Your calculations will look different. So let's clean this up. This is 6 times 6 plus 6. Wait a minute. Something isn't adding up here. I promise you it's 52. I just made a mistake somewhere. Is anybody seeing it? Althea, you see it? Can you help me? Oh, yes. Yes, I see it. Thank you. Phew. I thought the whole thing was wrong, but it's just right here. Okay, this is 4 and 4. I knew right away 36 and 36, that's not going to be 52, right? So it's like, what's going on here? So 36 plus 16, that definitely, right? 12, 52, right? 52 and 52, it adds up. Thank you very much for helping me out there. I will leave this other one for you because we're almost out of time. I will give you the answer. Are you ready? Ready for the answer? If you don't want the answer, close your eyes right now. I'm not going to say it. I'm just going to write it down. But the answer is going to be posted for the worksheet you're going to get. So where do you want the answer? I'm going to put it right down here. Okay. I don't think it's a spoiler if you know the answer because you still need to, yeah. So just write down the answer. If you want textbook questions on these, that's right down here. If you want the homework, I would say plus 4.4 review B, which is next door, right next door. So that would be pages, 1 second, 35 to 36. That I will post, okay? I will post the answer to that. And so quiz tomorrow, what can you expect? Everything we've done up until this point, including this case, right? Including that case. You can bank on that. You know what I will do? If time allows, I think I'll be able to find some time. I will make a short video on how I do the 275. So if you are stuck, just look for that video. It'll probably be like a 5-minute video going through the same steps. I might not use highlighters, but I will go over that and post it, okay? Thank you, guys.